We can certainly call the meeting to order at 7:36 and announce that this is being recorded on the Zoom platform in accordance with the governor's proclamation allowing us to meet remotely. Be advised that you're being recorded and things you say and do will live on after your loss. And we'll see if we have a quorum. Carolyn?
Here.
Jay?
Here.
Tim is here. We have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:37. Minutes. We have minutes from the last meeting.
Really good
Want to
ones.
move those?
I would love to make a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting.
And a
Second.
second?
Oh, third.
A third?
Mhm.
And any additions or corrections? They were wonderful as usual.
Wonderful.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Jay?
I
Tim? Aye. It's unanimous. They're passed. Wonderful. We have 8 minutes.
What else was?
I can tell you that Thomas and we already told you that we met with a group from Cleveland to talk about the mall.
Yes.
And then Liz from the mall got in touch with us and asked if we would participate in a Zoom with a group. I forget where they're from. They have projects in Richmond, someplace in Texas, maybe it was Dallas, Chicago. They tend to do more conversion to have a mixed use. They weren't leaning quite as much to light manufacturing as the first group. They talked a lot about housing. What about apartments? What about condos? What about townhouses? I mean, they sort of tripped through the options and Thomas and I both said, and we thought we were representing the view of the board, that there's a reluctance to see housing in this project. I think when we had that housing trust me in that housing, what was that? Was that the Center Village study? And we were talking about housing and where it might be appropriate. And one of the places we talked about was the mall, but it seems as though enthusiasm for that notion is sort of diminished. At least that's the view that Thomas and I presented to these folks.
And Marlboro is not enthusiastic about that either. Is that correct?
I thought at the meeting, Meredith said they would be willing to accommodate townhouses. Now, today I called her to clarify, and she said that housing of any denomination would work. So apartments or townhouses or condos, but on a limited scale. And I said, what's limited? Limited to her might be 300 or 400. And I said, from our point of view, I mean, we might take some of those, but we certainly wouldn't. I didn't feel that we could go to town meeting and get traction for support for maybe 100 units, but maybe, I don't even know if that's there now. Although I didn't, Lisa sent that report from Metropolitan Area Planning Commission that tied new housing or housing in general, I guess it was new housing, housing in general to school age population, and just sort of denied that there was any correlation, which I found fascinating and wondered.
Yeah, same here.
I just wonder how it seems hard to, it doesn't seem, it's counterintuitive. So,
well, especially that it was tied to COVID.
yeah.
I bet I think on 495, a lot of the housing growth has been the response to the 40B issue, like us. So everyone has put in 1 to 3, 400 unit rental apartment complexes, and nobody allows more than 2 bedrooms.
Right.
Right. So by the time the families get large enough that the kids are going to school, they probably find someplace else to live. Could be a possibility.
Now,
I don't see
of
a lot
course,
of kids at our apartment complex.
I mean, they were showing everybody else's school age population dropping, whereas ours was level, and in the last 5 years actually bumped higher than most anybody else. So
Mm,
I thought it might be valuable to say to the commission, just look at this study in general and talk to us about what you believe to be the takeaways. Because
yeah.
yeah, I found it a little confusing. So today I called Meredith and I said, we've had these two groups, and I think my reaction to the first group was, wow, these guys really seem like they have their act together. They talked about projects that they wanted to do, how they would go about it. They showed, graphically how, they ripped down the second floor and reinforced the ceilings and and they liked the power that the site had and its location and on and on. And then I said the second group put me to sleep. We asked them if they had ideas, and they said, "Well, we're really here to just talk to you." And no, and what about housing? And she said she felt the same way. She found the first group far more interesting to chat with. But when I talked to Liz the other day, she said, "What's going on with Berlin? I thought you were interested in housing." And I said, a year ago, I think we probably would have considered housing at the mall site a little more seriously than we would now. But after town meeting and the school age population not shrinking in our case, but growing, and concern about school capacity, interest in more housing is waned. And I said, so I don't think we'd be as willing to jump into a housing mix on that site as we would have been a year ago, perhaps.
And if she came away from any of the meetings with us thinking that we were enthusiastic about housing, um, I regret giving her that impression.
Yeah. So, but I said, I thought that the first group we talked to, who she didn't participate in that conversation, but I said, Meredith, I felt, and Thomas and I felt really pretty positive about him. And then the second group, I said, put me to sleep. And she said, oh, because she felt that the second group perhaps had more potential to win the day with their offer and bid than the first group.
Huh.
And she said the second group has done a lot of good stuff in other parts of the country, but their timetable was, years.
Right.
Whereas the first group was really saying we'd hit the ground running pretty fast. And I thought, so there was two very different interpretations. Liz's was quite different than Meredith's, but I appreciated listening to Meredith and hearing what she said. And Liz too. I mean, it's, they both come at this with world of experience. So good stuff.
So what's your impression about next steps?
So everybody initially comes in with a proposal, and they must have had like 7 or 8. And then they tell some people your proposal isn't close, I guess, and they offer, they say, give us another proposal. And so they dig a little deeper and get a little more specific, and I think they finished that round, and now they're probably going to have a third round, and they wind it down to a winner, I guess. So I don't think it'll be too long before they say, here's the group that we've decided to sell to. I mean, they're obviously trying to find something has value for them. Whereas we might say, how does it fit the needs of the town more?
Sure.
Our objectives aren't necessarily the same entirely.
Right.
But I think
Right.
they
And
can.
how much weight are they, do you gather that they would give to what we might prefer?
No, I think they've got to look at the bottom line.
Right.
And I think the bidders will respond to what they think from our conversations they might be successful in bringing to a town meeting. So, we'll see. Do we have people in the audience for 7:45?
I believe we do. Yep.
Let's
We
welcome
have a
them.
hand up.
Hi, everyone. Bob Parenti here for Neil and Janet Vigent. Good to see you all again.
How are you, Bob?
Doing pretty well, staying out of the heat.
Good for you. You.
So I was able to get a PDF over to Jay yesterday of the proposed A&R plan on Randall Road. I don't know if y'all had a chance to look at it.
I can
Uh,
dig it up
161.
We're gonna see it now.
Okay.
Yeah. I did look at it briefly.
Mhm. Hey, what's going on? Oh, I see why. Whoop. Mm.
Great,
Oh,
thank
there
you.
we go.
Oh, this drawing's no good. It's sideways.
Yeah, I thought I rotated it. Maybe not.
Now it's upside down. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh,
There we go.
geez.
Perfect.
Look at
So
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
purpose of this plan is to create a parcel A, which does not have any frontage on Randall Road, but would be deeded to Neil's neighbors, Carol Leary and Peter Hoffman, for basically for privacy. So once parcel A is deeded to Peter and Carol, there really is no chance of any other development on that 161 Randall Road property. As far as I can tell, yeah, we didn't take any frontage out of there, but I guess it would eliminate any chance of another lot. So there's still 6.5 acres. Yeah, I guess the new owner in theory could do something, but um the remaining portion, there is a septic for 161. I don't know, sitting here whether there'd be a good area for septic for another lot. I think we had potential for another septic system up on the north side of parcel A, but that's gonna go by the wayside if Peter and Carol purchase this property from Neil and Janet.
So, Jay, can you give us the so we can see frontage?
that.
Yeah, so the new construction on 4A-2 that has a little bit more than the minimum frontage, and it's a 2-acre lot. And then the remaining frontage is, I don't know, I didn't add those up, but it's pretty rocky and it's pretty steep and it's pretty difficult, except for where the driveway is for 161. That's negotiable. That's, easy to drive. So I think Neil, you on the Zoom here with us?
Yes.
Yeah, let's promote Neil in case he wants to add something.
Because he's supposed to be moving around the corner. He's supposed to be moving over the Car Road.
Hey, Neil.
Are you there, Neil? I mean, you might have to unmute Neil, maybe.
He did unmute.
Okay. I just didn't know if he wanted to add any thoughts or anything.
Maybe his microphone's not working.
Oh, maybe. Maybe he's on a different computer. Hang on, he's calling me. Hey, you there?
Yeah, I don't have the speaker, I guess, on this.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll speak for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't have a speaker on the computer that he's on, so he can't
Got it.
he can't chime in for us, but he is
Okay.
I think he has the horse farmer on the corner under agreement, so that is his plan is to move over to Car Road with his family. This was, I think, his original intent to stay here, but the opportunity has arisen that he could be where he's going to stay, I guess. And he approached Peter and Carol about privacy. So this plan really is to stop any further construction next to them.
So just the new house is being built on lot 4A-2.
Correct.
Okay. And then so 4A-4 would have that new line that's drawn on the northwest corner.
So that's the existing.
That's
So
parcel A.
Correct. Yep. So there's an existing wall that we located that Peter kind of wanted to make the lot line. So there's an existing stone wall that goes off in the northeast direction, northeast, and then hits an existing drill hole that's really just on a rock. So that was kind of the limit of what Peter and Carol wanted to own in this um, parcel. So it's about what 1.88. Let's see, 1.8 acres they're picking up without any frontage. So their existing frontage would, be maintained as it is. We're not changing their existing house lot.
Right, I guess I'm still not, parcel A,
It's not a building lot. It's not a building lot as shown because it has no frontage.
all right, but I see dashed lines.
So the Leary parcel, the Leary parcel under the original deed had a fill and slope easement, but it was never used. So I don't know if they wanted to put the driveway there. Their driveway does not go through this land. So as part of the agreement with Neil, they preferred, not just the future owner of what's now known as 171 Randall Road, 4A-2. They preferred that there would be no other structures in a certain area, which is kind of the easement area plus a little bit more. So when the deed is written for parcel A, there's also going to be a restriction on a portion of 4A-2, which that's going to be legal verbiage that I don't really need to. I just need to describe the size of the easement for Neil, the Leary and the future owner of 4A-2. So the septic system for 4A-2 is up in the northerly part of lot 4A-2. It's up near not all the way up to the 74-foot dimension, but pretty far up. That was the best area to put a septic system in the leaching field. So we are going to pump our septic effluent up to that area.
Okay,
So Hoffman or Leary/Hoffman, they gain parcel A, plus they gain a little more restriction as far as structures on 4A-2. No sheds, no barns. It's
Yeah.
pretty tough to walk up there, but In theory, somebody could put a shed up there, but this just gives them maximum privacy, which is what they're looking for.
And this is coming off of the lot for 161, not the new house.
Correct.
Okay.
The total, yeah, the original lot was about 10 acres, and then 2 acres went to 4A-2, which doesn't change. 4A-2 doesn't change. It's going to have a little bit of a restriction. Like a 32,000 square foot area where it's just for the septic system, basically.
Okay. Jay, if you just scroll over and we can read that note in its entirety that's on the right-hand side. Note parcel A not to be considered a building lot. I just want to make sure it's. Yeah, there we go. Parcel A not to be considered an independent building lot. As drawn by description. Do we have a motion?
I would make a motion to approve the creation of parcel A as a non-building lot.
And you want to say that it's a plan drawn by Robert J. Parent?
Parente? Parent, yep. And
May 26, 2025. I think you wanted to say that.
I did. I meant to say that, yep.
And it's a 161 Randall Road, and we got a book and page here somewhere.
We do.
Yep.
Book 69, 796, page 30.
And then you meant to say approval not required, right?
I did,
Good.
yes.
And we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, let's take a vote. Carolyn,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Tim is aye. It's a vote, and thank you very much.
All right, I'll be in touch, Jay, to get that plan over to you. So I have the Mylar, right? So
Okay,
drop-
good.
I'll maybe drop it at town hall or something, but I'll give you a holler.
Are you
You
away,
could be
Jay?
more expeditious if you dropped it off at my house.
Yeah, I can do
Tim's
that.
house.
Yep, wherever you want. Yep, I'll drop it off a little Sharpie if you want. Yeah. Just let me know. Send me an email.
Yeah,
Great.
Okay.
please include the Sharpie. Those are.
Yeah, that's what we're collecting.
That's it. That makes it a lot easier. Thank you
Yeah.
all.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Behalf of Neil, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
What else we got on our agenda?
Well, we have these other guys who aren't ready. They're going to come in July 8th.
Right.
We had extended their, well, did we extend their? Yeah.
Well, we denied
Right.
We denied it, but we didn't
preliminary.
realize that they had submitted stuff.
Was it complete?
Yeah, but there were a bunch of questions that we needed to get answers from them, which they never received, I think, because they never came to a meeting.
Yeah.
So July 8th.
So
And
they're content with the 8th then?
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to get a response from their customer, the owner.
Yeah.
There was no response, but it was all kind of at last minute, so we'll try
Good.
again on the 8th.
Um,
Other than that, I don't think we really have anything on the agenda.
we've talked about them all. Jane wanted to know from us, what kind of committee we wanted to create to deal with the updates to the zoning bylaw. If people have any thoughts about that we could share with her?
I think we should nominate anyone who's not here tonight.
Second that.
I would
You know,
love to do
think-
it, but not only, I'd like to see what's going on intermittently, but there's just no way I can put that
Yeah.
much time to it right
Right.
now.
I mean, I'd like to
I-
work on it, and I think
That'd be
Thomas would like to work on it from time to time. I think that's what probably makes sense, is we'll sort of have different people cycle in. We'll get some people from ZBA, some from Conservation, some from Housing Trust. And that way, when different pieces come into play, so maybe what we'll do is ask some of those entities to identify, a person or two that we would refer to when we wanted someone to participate in the discussion with Jane. And then Jane would have a contact person that she could reach out to just to sort of guide the process a little bit from other points of view.
Would it be too much to ask Jane to kind of go through and pull out sections and say, oh, so and so should be involved with this part, someone from this group should, and then that way it can kind of be grouped together?
Yeah, and the other thing, I suppose, is we could ask her to sort of prioritize in her mind how different sections might be, like you said, how would they be broken out? So what chunks would you deal with it in, and then in what order?
Right.
So we could lay that outline for everybody on these different committees and say, this is our schedule and our priorities. We're going to deal with this mall overlay language first because it's impending, and then we'll deal with this issue second. And yeah, okay. I can reach out to her and sort of say, hey, this is a thought from our point of view, and then maybe the next time we meet, she could come in and make a pitch. That makes sense?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because like Jay said, I'd love, excuse me, I'd love to be involved in parts of it, but I certainly can't commit to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen hasn't signed the contract yet because it's quite lengthy. There's a lot of
Really?
boilerplate, but there's some specifics about the timing of availability of funds from our end, and I was going to check with June just to make sure that the release of funds from our end would coincide with what they anticipated. It seemed like we'd have to throw 5,000 in pretty quickly in order to jumpstart it, and then I think we said we'd spend 12.5 total, I think, or something like that. So I wasn't sure when the 7,500, the remaining 7,500 would be due, and the contract to me was a little confusing. So I was going to reach out to Central Mass and ask about that, and then check with June. Kristen's away this week, so I figured, she could sign the contract when she gets back, and that would probably be fine. That's what I know about that.
Awesome.
Anything else?
No,
All right.
and
What?
we only meet once in July, right?
Yeah.
July 8th.
July 8th. Got it.
Are you around?
Yep.
Are you around, Jay?
I think I am.
Oh,
Let's
good.
check here, but I'm pretty sure.
All right,
Yep.
Carolyn, do you want to make a motion?
I would love to make a motion to adjourn.
And then we have a second.
Second.
It's non-debatable. It's Carolyn,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Tim is aye.